Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's some serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
It's going down, down, going down, down. It's going down. It's going down tonight, baby. It's going down. It's going down. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the applause, Michael. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We wake up for the applause, don't we? We do. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Monday Motivation with your host, Sabrina Goodwin Monday, Caterina, Crisette, Gloria. Welcome to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship. We celebrate 30 plus years of fabulous friendship. We are positive, powerful, not Pollyannish. We talk about it all on We Got Issues. Thank you for joining us Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. It's always something to talk about. Well, girlfriends, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you since last Friday. Well, I didn't even see you Friday because I wasn't on the show. But it's been a few days.
Excuse absence. Tell us about it. Tell us about the champion.
I went to Iowa, you guys. Oh my goodness. Quincy, as you guys know, wrestles for Princeton. And we had the #1 school in the country. And when you go in there, it's like the most rowdy crowd it's hostile. Let me
No way.
It's not friendly. I mean,
really?
Sold out 16,000 radical wrestling fans and not
16,000?
Yes, sold out. You would think you were going to a football game. We've never, I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, everybody knows that Iowa has always been historically the biggest, the baddest, the best forever. They have long history and heritage. And so Princeton, Ivy League, we're 21st in the country. We're doing good. We're coming up, but we're 21st ranked in the country. So we knew what it was going to be, but my goodness. But give it up for Quincy Monday, who came out with a W. Yay, Quincy. Yes. Knocked off the #5 kid in the country. So we were excited.
Go on, Quincy. Quincy.
Got to have.
Does that give him a placement, Sabrina? Does that give him another placement?
Yeah, he'll be, Quincy was ranked number 6 or 7 in the country right now. So he's right in their top 10 in the country. And so we will continue to just work and see where he ends up. But it was going to be about...
We will continue.
Yeah, we will
continue. You ain't got on no mat, ain't nothing, ain't lifted a thing, ain't been on no treadmill. We going to keep it going, girl. We going to keep working.
She was sweating just as much as him in the stands.
Thank you. It takes a village. How are you guys doing? We had the American Music Awards last night, which were awesome. It's Thanksgiving week. Oh my goodness, we love this week. People are traveling like crazy. They say travel is up like never before. People are feeling a little more confident, a lot more confident to gather. Gloria, I know you got 31 people coming to Thanksgiving dinner. Are you ready?
I'm ready. This is the thing. I'm ready until they tell me I'm not ready. I'm ready. I mean, I woke up the other day, I was like, I got to order table and chairs. I mean, we missed last year. So it's funny what happens when you miss a year, when you're in such a groove and you come out the groove and then things change. My sister Wendy is over in Europe somewhere with her son, and he's doing his first international tumbling. And the reason I say Europe somewhere is because it's a country I'm so unfamiliar with, but when she sent us pictures, it's absolutely gorgeous, like really, really beautiful, where they do a lot. It's right next to Turkey, and they do a lot of athletics there. So it's going to be a very different Thanksgiving because it's, the kids are growing up. We have two of my nephews coming back from their first year at college. So this is going to be their first family gathering. You know how it feels when you get to come home from your first year of college. And so it's going to be extra, extra fun. The conversation is going to be real thick. So we're looking forward to it. Some of them are already on their way. I'm like, Thursday. Thanksgiving is Thursday, but they are coming. They are already on their way.
Now, Gloria, are you requiring vaccination? Are you guys pretty loose about it? What is it?
No, everybody's vaccinated. Everybody has to be vaccinated unless you're a child. Everybody's vaccinated. We started that conversation long, so nobody's surprised.
Right.
Nobody's surprised. Now, I didn't ask for COVID tests, but I have some portable COVID tests here, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, because that way, because pretty much when we come in here, we pretty much stay in here except for the few people that go to the grocery store.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you know what? As we gather with friends and family, we're getting ready to see people we haven't seen. Today's topic is emotional overstepping. And that's a great topic with Dr. Brenda Joy. And she is our guest today. We're going to meet the other girlfriends. We're going to bring Dr. Brenda Joy in because some of you are looking forward to the holidays with some of your family members and friends. And some of you are not because boundaries have not been set. And so we're going to talk about that today. Crisette, how are you?
Look at Caterina.
I am doing great. I am absolutely excited about Thanksgiving. Of course, last year it was just my immediate family and my kids, Kiera and Buddy, had their significant other. Angelica wasn't my daughter-in-law then. So that was nice to have that intimate setting with them. But this year is going to be, Chuck's family, some of my family, and then we're going to do something the next day. So that's really exciting. But you guys, it's a lot going on in the news. The one thing that I heard today, and I know the Wisconsin thing is going on, the Ahmaud Arbery, his trial is going on, and of course was all up in that. But I heard this today that couples are choosing not to have children. And do you know it's at a record low for the last 6 years to the point where the people that monitor that, they're a little bit worried that people are choosing not to have children. A lot of it has to do with economics, and a lot of it has to do with people, just choosing not to have children. I thought that was really interesting. And I'll be honest, I always say, I'm so glad I was born when I was born. I'm so glad I had my children when I had my children. And times are changing and so different. You just kind of wonder if you were at that age, would that even be a thought that you wouldn't want to have children? Or would you look at everything that's going on and give pause to, I'm not 100% sure. Because I remember thinking when I get married, I'm going to have a family, I'm going to have a boy, I'm going to have a girl, I'm going to have this, that, and the other, but I don't know if I would think the same given the climate that we're in. What do you guys think?
I'm having me some babies. Okay?
I didn't even think about it. I ain't giving no thought.
Too, okay.
I ain't giving no thought. No job, no chick, no child. I ain't giving no thought. I'm like, yep, having babies. After I got over the fear of it. So that's very interesting. Very interesting.
But that's a good show, Chris. That's a good show.
That's a great show.
Yeah. So we'll think about doing that.
Okay. I'll be quick because, I'm being quick because the girlfriends didn't leave me no time. But honestly, we could do a whole show just on what happened this week. Because did we forget Atlanta Airport? Did we forget Wisconsin? But let me just tell you, I got super quick. I saw King Richard. That's a show. We got to talk about that. We can't take all the tribe. You got to go see King Richard. I saw Bond. Okay. I'm just telling you. But
I thought Bond was awesome.
It was long. But compared to King Richard, the thing was so high. That thing. But you guys, this is my last thing, and I know Sabrina's gonna cut me off. The smash and grabs, y'all. Both of my cities got hit.
I saw that.
Nordstrom Bay Area, and we live in Chicago. Chicago got hit in Oak Brook. San Francisco, Louis Vuitton got hit, but Walnut Creek, which is like up there, to the corner right by my house. 80 people roll up to a Nordstrom, ran in, took all the bags, and came out.
Unbelievable.
What are they
saw
taking?
that
The
night
on
or the
purses?
night
video.
What are
before
they
last.
taking? The purses?
Purses. And somebody said, but some of them are locked down. They said they took the whole thing, like the whole thing, and then they cut it off when they get outside, y'all. Lawlessness. That's a whole show. It's so sad. It's so sad. 80 people cut off traffic and ran in right up the street
Crazy.
from where
I
I
mean,
was
that's a
taking
lot
my
of
stuff back to the store.
people. That's a lot of people to come together and say we're going to do
To
this.
coordinate. That's what I
the
was
scary
thinking.
part.
To coordinate. That's a lot
Yeah.
of people to coordinate at the same
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
sad.
Crazy. That is overstepping. That's overstepping right there. Okay. That is some overstepping right there. Let's bring in my girlfriend, Dr. Brenda Joy. Give her a round of applause from Tulsa, Oklahoma. My homegirl. Yes. The beautiful Dr. Brenda. Let me tell you guys a little bit about my friend. We go way back. She is both an inspirational and instructional academic leader and community advocate, keenly aware that our time is not our own. Given that our existence is temporary, she uses her weekly segment, Therapy Thursday, on KOTV Channel 6 in Tulsa to mobilize people to personal and organizational greatness. She is a human relations professor. That means she does people and does them well at the University of Oklahoma and received a President's Award for her visionary leadership. Dr. Brenda Joy, one of the smartest, bodacious, beautiful, inspirational women that I know, earned her PhD from the University of Tulsa with over 20 publications, including scholarly journal articles, edited volumes, and books on leadership and women. Dr. Brenda Joy draws on her academic expertise, professional background, and lived experience to transform people's lives from average to extraordinary. You guys, she's mentored hundreds of women. Her newest book, Mentorship, A Women's Entrepreneur's Guide, is scheduled for release in 2022. She invites each listener to pre-order her book on Amazon.com. So we will definitely do that. She is a sought-after professional speaker and has inspired diverse audiences in Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America. She's actively engaged in Tulsa's volunteer and philanthropic infrastructure. As the founder of the Mothers Group, you guys, that's how far back we go. We did the Mothers Group together. Yes. When Sydney was newborn, that's when I was in the Mothers Group with Brenda. Yes. And
Wow.
it's an award-winning nonprofit organization. She and its members are committed to increasing the love of books and reading among under-resourced children, recognized for hosting the first African-American Santa and Mrs. Claus in the nation. So that's right, you guys. She brings Mr. and Mrs. Claus to a library or the community every year in Tulsa. One year, Kenny and I were Mr. and Mrs. Claus for the babies. And she does that every year. You guys, I could go on and on. She's going to brag on herself. Dr. Brenda, come on in and say hello to the people.
Hello, and what a wonderful, audacious introduction. I needed you this morning, Sabrina. I am so excited about being here with you. Such wonderful energy and such positive dispositions. I can't wait to start the discussion.
Excellent. So we're going to talk about emotional overstepping. We're not going to go too deep in. We've got 2 minutes before we go to our first break. But I was talking to a girlfriend and she said, well, what's the show about? I said, emotional overstepping. She's like, what is that? I said, you got to tune into the show. And so in a short way, how do you describe emotional overstepping, Dr. Brenda?
Well, Sabrina, emotional overstepping is all about boundaries. And it is the practice of going beyond the rules, limitations, and guidelines that someone sets to protect their emotional well-being. When people overstep, go beyond and above to interrupt the peace someone has after that person has set guidelines, has set limitations and boundaries, that is emotional overstepping.
Wow. Well, that happens every day, all day to most
All
people,
day.
I would think, all day. And it's because, number one, people don't set the boundaries. I believe that's a big piece of it. So when we come back, you guys, we're going to delve deep into this topic. Call us at 313-778-7600. We promise when you talk to us, when you tune in to We Got Issues, we are looking for solutions. We'll be right back. We're back. We're back. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We are back. Thank you for joining the Force of Friendship. We got issues, and today we are talking emotional overstepping. Are you that friend who everybody calls? They call you with everything all the time. Are you the go-to girl because you'll listen, but sometimes you just feel like you're being dumped on constantly? Are you that girl? Well, we're here with Dr. Brenda Joy, and she is the professional on human relations. She is the human relations professor. But let's get the phone lines. Thank you for calling 313-778-7600. Who do we have on the line? Hi, Victoria. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How is everyone?
We're good. We're good. So what are your thoughts on emotional overstepping? What do you have for us today?
I actually have two questions for Dr. Brenda, please, if that's okay. The first one is, I'll just say them both. Why does emotional overstepping happen? And what you want to do if the person gets upset when you set a boundary?
Those are really good questions, Victoria. Thank you for calling. Are you a first-time caller, first-time listener?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, please join us. Thank you for being part of our Force of Friendship tribe. Let's get right to Dr. Brenda Joy, and she will answer those questions. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Go ahead, Dr. Brenda.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria. Those are two critical questions. The first one, why does it happen? And I'd like to say it happens predominantly most innocently. It's not on purpose typically.
Oh, wow.
We start off talking to one another about minor incidents, minor problems, and we go back and forth. Then it progresses to perhaps one person more frequently talking about deeper and more critical problems at the exclusion of the other person. So now we have one person who's the listener and the other person who's the talker, and there is an imbalance, and the problems seem to get deeper and deeper, more heavy, taking more emotional energy to process. And so consequently, because the other person has her own problems and she has her own issues and her condition, it can become burdensome. And because initially it's just talking back and forth, girlfriends talking back and forth. However, as one increases the frequency and the intensity of the problem, the other person becomes burdened and bothered, even to the point I've had clients who have said they have lost sleep over other people's problems. And they have taken on the problem as if it is their own charge, as if it is their own problem. And so this is unhealthy. I think it's important. So consequently, there's really no reason to set up a boundary, because you don't set up boundaries with friends. You just talk. But in this case, boundaries need to be established. And I think if someone gets upset, if you determine that, listen, friend, you know, we have this dynamic interpersonal relationship. I like you. I love you. However, because of the frequency and the intensity of the problem, I am becoming bothered. I am actually losing sleep. And I would like for us to go back to our initial state of just having conversations that are more light. I am happy to connect you with other sources, resources. Matter of fact, I have a great resource that I use, and I'm sure that they would be happy to speak with you as well. And we can continue. I don't want you to be upset. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but rather than avoiding you, rather than trying to ignore you, I'd rather be transparent. I'd rather be authentic. I'd rather be honest, because we have such a great relationship that I want to continue. I want to let you know that I'm setting this boundary. And I think that's important. And good friends will understand that. And we can lead by example. Some friends may not be aware that they are overstepping, that they are impacting you in an unhealthy way. And so informing them of that is certainly a gift. We can look at that as a gift.
Dr. Brenda, I have a question real quickly. You know, I'm a first lady, and of course, my husband's the pastor. And, you know, and especially in the Black church, you know, our people go to their pastor for everything. And I am so thankful that pastors are starting to realize that they cannot be everything to everybody, because there are situations that come into their office that they are not equipped to handle. And of course, you can always pray and give that person, you know, some assurance that, you know, it's going to work out. But at the end of the day, there are times where this person needs need to talk to somebody on a counselor, a therapist. They need to talk to somebody on a regular basis. And so with me, you know, sometimes there are issues that come that I haven't experienced. I don't per se have the answer, but I think in the position that I hold, my job, I perceive it as being like, I always say, Felix with that bag of tricks, and not so much tricks, but being able to say, I can't help you, but let me point you in the right direction. And I think that will serve a lot of us well, as opposed to sometimes it's our ego that want to make people think we know all the answers, but just
Right.
being at a place where you can say, you know what, I'm sorry that that's happening to you, but let me point you in the direction of somebody that is more equipped to help you than I am. Is that a right solution? Is that appropriate?
Lady Crisette, you are on target. I am so very pleased that you have brought up this issue, because when we think about it, who do we model? We model typically our parents, our mothers. We've seen them help everyone. We've seen them go over and beyond, even overstepping into areas that, as you point out, beyond our knowledge base, beyond our skill acquisition. And so, yes, you are absolutely right. We need to recommend, we need to refer to therapists, professionals who are trained and who understand the emotional mind, the psychology of people. And yes, prayers always in order. I'm a PK, I'm a preacher's kid. And so we understand that, but we don't necessarily have the answers. I know we don't have the answers to all questions, the solutions to all problems. Let me share this one thing. You know, in my research, I, especially during COVID-19, I found that there are three primary ways to help people. And you spoke of one, Lady Crisette. And that is, and if you got your paper and pencil, this is a great time to take notes. That is informational support. There are three ways to support. The first one, informational support. And so this is the tangible. This is, I have resources for you. It could be a book. It could be a podcast. It could be this radio show. It could be information regarding, here is the link or number or address to the food bank. And this can help people who need food. The same thing for a therapist or a certainly counselor. Now that's informational. Then there is instrumental, INSTRUMENTAL. Instrumental support. Instrumental support is the tangible support. So instead of saying, you know, I'll pray for you, I know you're hungry, I know your family doesn't necessarily have the kinds of economic leveling that they need, but instead of saying we'll pray for you, you can say, you know, I am going to order groceries and have them delivered. That's instrumental, tangible. I am going to send a check over. I am going to offer child care. Instrumental, right? Something tangible. I am going to send transportation. You don't have a ride, I'm going to send Uber. That's instrumental support. These are behaviors that are tangible. And the final one is emotional. And this is where we get back to emotional overstepping. So there, I don't want anybody to leave thinking that we are not supposed to provide emotional support for one another. I am of the belief that listening is our least developed skill, and we need to practice it more. Yes, we need to listen. So emotional support is the verbal and the way that we communicate and convey our feelings. I'm sorry that happened to you. I feel for you. My heart goes out for you. I am listening, and I will keep my eyes and ears peeled for a solution around that. So emotional support is important. And when you say, I am listening, I care about you, I am having a sense of empathy and sympathy for you and your situation, that's good. We want to communicate, but overstepping is going beyond. is exceeding what one has put in place, that this is not healthy for me and my emotional well-being, but you continue to overstep or exceed the boundaries that have been established. So those are the three ways: instrumental, informational, and emotional support. Find out how you can help in those ways, and I think you will be fairly safe as to how to help, how to offer assistance without going overboard. Because sometimes we go overboard. It's not the other person. We offer too much. We, as Lady Crisette said, we have positioned and postured ourselves in ways that make us seem that we are omni-knowing. We're not omni-knowing. We have limits. And I think as we grow into our understanding, we know those limits.
All right. We got issues with the force of friendship. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Good stuff. Take it up. We're back with the force of friendship, and we are talking emotional overstepping. We are talking you could still be a great friend and not be burdened by OPP, other people's problems, with Dr. Brenda Joy. Here we go. We're going to the phone lines. Callers, thank you for calling. Sabrina, Caterina, Gloria, Crisette, and Dr. Brenda Joy. Who do we have? Hello. Hi.
Yes. Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is Harry, and thank you for taking my call and joining the show. I just want to know if you think that emotional overstepping has something to do with what the school did in Wisconsin.
What did the school do? What are you specifically referring to?
I'm referring to the school in Wisconsin that killed them people. Does it lead violence?
I'm sorry, Harry, what was the last thing you said? You talking about the guy who ran the car into the Christmas parade?
Yeah, and killed the dancing grannies. Is that emotional overreach or step?
What do you see the connection there, sir?
Well, I mean, obviously he's got issues. I mean, so I was just wondering if you know, like if you know somebody like that, I mean, what should be done before it gets to that point? You know, could somebody gave him a hug or something?
I'm gonna step in here just really quickly and say.
We want to be clear when we talk about emotional health. We also want to allow the spectrum, the continuum, where there's healthy emotional health, and then there are areas of emotional illness and areas in which we have our psychiatrists and we have our professional therapists and our professional counselors who are certainly have the training in that background and can identify individuals. It is so unfortunate that incident happened, and that's not the only one. We have a history of unhealthy people who take authority and use their power to hurt, harm, and injure, and even kill individuals. And so when we talk about emotional health, we want to be conscientious to make sure that when we identify, or if anything seems peculiar, and we note behavior that is not appropriate, then we want to resort and consult the appropriate professionals, and so that kind of behavior can be halted. So I would imagine Harry is suggesting that perhaps there have been some previous behaviors, preliminary behaviors, before it got to this, that could have identified that there was a need and that he could have been referred to those who could have helped.
Excellent.
Yes, thank you for that question. That's
Excellent.
important to acknowledge.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Harry, for calling. Thank you. We have another caller. Angela, are you there? Good evening.
So I hope I'm on the right topic. So how do you set boundaries for your emotions from your personal life and your professional life? Can you cause emotional conflicts for yourself because you didn't set boundaries? Like, I tend to do things with my heart because you know how you want to love everybody. And I've learned that people sometimes fall in different seasons of your life. So, for instance, long story short, I had a new first-time customer, and she went somewhere and got her hair messed up or whatever, and I fixed it for her. She was excited. She texted me that she was going to dye it a different color to go with the extensions that I put in, and then I didn't hear from her. I feel like she messed it up. Plus, I had a feeling in our household, her husband probably had a lot to say. So I'm more of a communication person. I try to text her and different things. I know she was happy when she left, happy before she did it. And so it bothered me emotionally. I prayed about it. I didn't hear from her, so I just returned her money. Now, this week, I'm starting to feel more calm in my mind. I started by as far as talking to my friend about it, prayed about it. But I just like for people to be happy and be satisfied. So I just gave her the money back and everything. So I don't know how to not wear my heart on my sleeve at the same time. I mean, am I making myself crazy because I don't have a boundary? Or how do you set a boundary between your life and your profession because you want to love everybody. But I don't know. That sounded weird.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much for calling. I'm sure Dr. Brenda's going to give us some good information. That was a great question because we are emotional beings. We want people to feel okay about us and we want to feel okay about them. So thank you for calling, Angela. Dr. Brenda, what would you say?
Yes, thank you, Angela. You know what? When she provided the scenario, I immediately said, that's when policies come into play. Policies, procedures, and guidelines help to establish boundaries for us. So no longer is it about me being nice or being perceived as not nice. It is the policy. It is the procedure. Here are the guidelines for actions or results. And so when we post those, when we go over those guidelines with the individuals that we are working with, now we have made clear because those are the boundaries for us. What I love about this is because of this lived experience, Angela can decide that going forward, when I work with color, with individuals, here are the guidelines. Here's what I will accept. Money will not be returned if procedures were followed. Monies will not be returned if you are not happy with the outcome because you changed your mind. Now, I think it is commendable just to move beyond that. Angela decided to return the money, but going forward, she can now establish boundaries in the form of guidelines, rules, or policy.
Excellent, excellent.
That's really, really good. That's really good. Dr. Joy, I have a question, and my question is, different personalities allow different types of boundaries. Some people can take a lot on and some people can't take any at all. You know, like when you said, you know, that information keeps me up at night. And some people can listen to stuff all day long and sleep like a rock. It doesn't bother them at all. And the challenge comes into when people compare people who can take a lot and people who can't take a lot. You know, sometimes we think people who cannot handle a lot and they take it all in, they sometimes can be considered weaker or not as strong as someone who can handle a lot. Like for me, I can't go to the movies and see somebody getting killed and handle it. Like I'm not that kind of person, but I can talk to a person all day long. But you know, that very much affects me when I see that. So I just wanted to point out, if you could talk to us a little bit about different people's personalities or what causes some people to handle more and some people to handle less, and is that really something?
Good. Great question, and I think you are right on target when we think about the notion of comparing. Now, number one, we don't want to compare because our makeup, our compositions, all different. And you're right. I am one of those who cannot take a movie that is violent. They know not to call me. That is not a Brenda Girls movie. Do not even ask her. I mean, when I see violence and somebody gets kicked, I feel it in wherever that person was kicked. Right. That's the kind of emotional intake that I have. And so I think it is important in terms of how we consider who can take on and who decides not to. You know, I look at birth order in much of my research. And what I have found is that the firstborn has the responsibility typically of setting of being the role model, of being the person in charge, authority when the parents aren't there. So in terms of birth order, the firstborn typically can know how to, for example, take in information and what to give out. Now, the secondborn typically takes it from both ends, you know, and so the secondborn, in my research, has shown that they are typically the ones who set boundaries up front or as soon as they have an experience, because the firstborn is giving that information, and then the ones giving that information, and that secondborn will say, wait a minute, enough is enough. And then the lastborn, we find that they are the most sort of happy-go-lucky. The first and second they have taken care of the hard work, carried the heavy burdens, and the lastborn typically, reaps the benefit of having a jovial kind of personality. So I would suggest, yes, go ahead and make sure that you set your own limits. And it doesn't even have to match the people in your family. You don't have to necessarily take on what everybody else takes on, or you can take on more and not feel guilty. Sometimes and it depends on the area, right? It depends on in which area. Sometimes we can take on more in particular areas because that's our purpose. That's our call. We got that. Right? We can take it on all day because we are working within our zone of genius, and that's okay. Now, if the next person can't, and that's not there, that's okay.
Hold on,
because
Brenda.
you have
Hold on, doctor. Okay, doctor, we gotta go. She's on a roll. She's on a roll. We'll be right back. We got issues. 9 a.m. the Superstation. Give us a call at 313-778-7600. We'll be right back. Jumping right back in because there's so much to talk about, Caterina, I think you have, Dr. Brenda, were you finished with that thought? Or was there something else? You were finished with that thought? Okay, Caterina, go ahead.
Okay. Once again, I'm coming in at the end, but I have two questions. I'm just going to hit both of them and you tell me which, if we have time for both. But my question about, I just want some more tangible examples of how to set boundaries. But I also want some examples of how to push the envelope. Like, I'm one who I think setting boundaries is pretty easy for me. I'm an only child. I'm used to not being all up in people's business, and I don't like people all up in my business. So I think my aura might create boundaries. But so I want something. True. I want help, particularly like when you are an in-law, I'm married and my husband had grown kids. So there's that whole thing when you come all up in a family and people are just getting to know you. how do you set those boundaries without coming across the wrong way and having people label you? I want to know that. But then how do you also push the boundaries? For example, I just had a girlfriend who was in the hospital fighting for her life, and the family kind of said, you know, sit back. But sometimes friends, like these chicks right here, I'm closer to them than I am some of my family. Sometimes I push the boundary a little bit because she said some things in my ear that I know were her wishes. So can you talk about both of those? Like, how do you create your own boundaries, and how do you step in a little bit when you need to push a boundary, maybe that can make a difference in somebody's life, maybe even save their life?
Yes, Caterina.
I know that's a lot.
Yes, very good questions and powerful ones. And I am not hesitant about saying that cases are individual. We cannot just approach this issue of emotional issues with a broad stroke. One way that I like to use about setting boundaries is with the acronym HOT. You know, how hot are you? HOT. I'm a former audiologist, so I sometimes sign HOT, hot. And the first one is honest. Can you be honest? How can you be honest with your statements? And I think more and more we need to be honest. We have been so careful because we've been people pleasers. We don't want to upset anybody. We don't want to come across as being something other than we are. And I think it's the tone. I think it's setting the stage. You know, I want to discuss this with you. This is something that I think is important and will help build our relationship. And so you want to be honest. What actually would you like the person to do? What don't you want the person to do? And how will you honor your word and that person? So, and that's being honest. O is open. Can you be open to the other person's comments and remarks? See, if we're bad enough, if we're big enough to put out what it is that we want, can we be open enough to take the response? Are we strong enough to hear the information that they have after we've given them our policy, our limits, our boundaries? And so we want to be open to take that in, and not only take it in, but integrate it into what we have said so that there can be perhaps a balance, a come to the middle kind of process. And then finally, T is transparency. What are the real reasons that you have these boundaries? You know, what is there something that triggers you? Do you have, for example, something in the past that you are reacting to and you are using it as a way for it not to happen? Then you want to be transparent. You want to say, my lived experience included this. And consequently, I have learned that. And I want nothing but good vibes to flow between us. And so being honest, being open, and being transparent are all ways to facilitate a good interaction and establish boundaries. Pushing boundaries. Let's move to that. Pushing boundaries. And I commend you on knowing what it is that your friend shared with you and how to help facilitate what it is your friend wants. So I think we can speak up. This is my experience. I spoke with them. Here is what I understood. Once you give that, you have to be willing to stand back and be calm and be free with, I've done my part. I'm not responsible for the outcome. I'm not responsible for the end result, but I have honored my friend by sharing the information she told me, and now I am free.
I love that. That was helpful. Thank you for my personal coaching and counseling session.
Yeah,
That is so good. So good. Dr. Brenda, tell people how they can follow you. I mean, I was on your YouTube channel. I listened to so many of your podcasts. They were so enlightening, so engaging. Tell people how to find you on Instagram, Facebook, your YouTube channel. Talk about your book that you have coming up.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity, Sabrina, and thank you all for your fantastic questions. They are critical and certainly meaningful. You know, I can be, as you said, on YouTube at Dr. Brenda Joy, and many of those videos are from my weekly Therapy Thursday segments on a CBS affiliate, KOTV Channel 6. So every Thursday, callers or TV watchers, they give me questions and I try to answer them and respond to them. So yes, not only check out my YouTube channel, but subscribe. I need subscribers. Please subscribe. Also on Instagram, I am there. I am talking about complicated communication issues. I'm talking about leadership issues. So you can reach me there at Dr. Brenda Joy again, and I am certainly open to interacting with you. My book that's coming out in 2022, it's on mentorship. And I think that is an area in which entrepreneurs can really glean from. Did you know that people who are mentored, they advance faster, they even earn better salaries or wages than those who are not mentored? And what we find is that women sometimes have a challenge of getting other mentors. They don't have a challenge of mentoring others, but they have a challenge of having those who are in places where they'd like to be and eventually rise to mentoring them. And so in this guide, I provide strategies whereby people can tell their story, because our stories are unique and they are what will put us on the map and make us interesting to others, as well as identify what it is that they want. Sometimes we just haven't really unpacked, deconstruct what it is that we want so that we can help other people get to their goals. But it's sometimes challenging for us to identify and reach our goals. In this guidebook, I have questions. I have certainly strategies by which people can identify their, I love it, zone of genius, because we all have a zone of genius. We all have a purpose, and I say more than one purpose. And sometimes over the season, they change. Once your kid's gone, you get another purpose. And sometimes our spouses are happy about it. So here in this book, I will provide those kinds of strategies and reflect on the wonderfulness and the remarkableness of individuals who may not see the genius within them.
That's it. Dr. Brenda Joy, oh my goodness. You were a wealth of information. We will be following you. We will pre-order that book. Thank you for being part of our tribe. We're embracing you. You're part of the girlfriends now. We got issues. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Gloria has the show. Same time, same place. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Okay, hang up the phone.